Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. I decided to work on the literary history of English literature. So in the very first video I decided to work on the Middle Ages. Its time span started from 1066 to 1500 AD. So let's begin with the introduction of the Middle Ages, what the actually Middle Ages are. In the Middle Ages, number of wars in the plague caused devastations, which also affected the language of the society. The language that we have today is greatly impacted by the events of the Middle Ages. The age also produced few of the greatest poets, writers in the history of the world. We'll discuss the following in detail. First of all, we'll go through the main events, then language, then literary trends, and afterward the writers of that particular age. Main events are given here. The main events are given here in the sequence. The first was the Norman Conquest, then the Black Death, afterward the Peasant Revolt, then the printing press. The first major incident of that time period is the Norman Conquest. It is said that the Edward Confessor died childless. Harold Godwin was immediately crowned king after Edward's death. Harold Hardrada, king of Norway, attacked at Yorkshire in an attempt to claim the throne. William, Duke of Normandy, invaded Sussex. In October 1066, Harold fought William at the Battle of Hastings and lost. William was crowned King of England on Christmas Day 1066. But it took years more fighting to conquer the whole country. Another incident was the Black Death. Plague spread in Europe in around the year 1347 to 1350, and it caused secession, and the war was caused by the plague. And it had killed 30 to 60% of the Europe's population. It is said that its estimate was 25 million people. It not only killed a human being but also animals paid the death toll. And Black Death also affected the literature, and it was brought the concept of death and afterlife into the literature as well. It is said that Black Death was caused by the rat. Some of the sailors came to England, and their ships there were some rats, and on their bodies was some sort of fleas. Those fleas caused the spreading of Black Death. Another major incident was the Peasants' Revolt. The Peasants' Revolt, also called Tyler's Rebellion on the Great Rising, was a major uprising across large parts of England in 1381. It was caused by the political and socio-economic tension faced after Black Death. High taxes because of the ongoing war with France also triggered the rebellion. The rebellions attacked London, burned down the buildings, and killed everyone associated with the royal government. King Richard II cunningly took control of the government again and gathered 4,000 soldiers to restore the order. The rebel leaders were attacked, tracked down, and executed. Another invention that is very important of that time period is printing press. German entrepreneur Johannes Berg introduced the printing press in 1476. It was the William Caxton. It is thought to be the first person to introduce printing press into England. Before printing press was invented, books were copied by hand, and it is said that the spelling were non-standard. Poets and writers, according to their free will and according to their own interest, they mold the spellings. Books were extremely expensive. Only the elite were able to have books. whereas the poor people rarely had, and if they did, it was the Bible. Printing press made the distribution of knowledge and literacy much easier. It reduced the time and expense of copying books. Language. Latin was the language of church, hence most of the literature was in Latin within the Central Europe. Literature in Greek dominated in the Eastern Europe. French was the language of the kings and court. Church and administration used Latin. The common people, however, spoke the Middle English. Literary trends. Poetry was still dominant form of literature. Middle Ages resulted into shift from epic to romance. Heavy focus on allegories because of the religious trends of the age. Romance poetry is about a hero and his tales. Focuses on love and courtly manner along with happy endings. One of the most famous poems is Layman's Brat. Dream allegory is a poem which conveys a deeper meaning than what is shown. Most famous of the age is William Langland's Piers Plowman. Ballads, a poem in short stanzas, were famous in the time of the Peasant Revolt. Ballads about a local hero and Robin Hood were really popular. Lyrics poetry, which comes from Greek word lyr, which refers to an instrument that accompanied reading of the poem. It's a short verse poetry which shows individuals' feeling. Most famous of the age is the Harvey's manuscript. Lais is a short tale that usually in verses of 8 syllables, was also famous at the age. It dealt with the subject of Celtic origin. Notable writers were the Geoffrey Chaucer, John Gower, and William Langland. Geoffrey Chaucer's time span started from 1343 to 1400. He is called the pioneer of English poetry and is a father of English poetry as well. Served as a soldier, government servant, and member of the parliament. His work can be divided into 3 periods. First period of the French models includes his famous Book of the Duchess, 1369. Second period of the Italian models include Troilus and Cressida, which is considered one of the Chaucer's greatest work. Third period includes the Canterbury Tales, an unfinished work of approximately 17,000 lines. John Gower. His time span started from 1330 to 1408. He was called Moral Gower. His 3 major works in English, French, and Latin. He is known to criticize social groups more directly. His most famous poem, written in English but given a Latin title as Confessio Amantis, consists of 8 books and somehow 34,000 lines. William Langland. His time period started from 1332 to 1386. He was the author of the most famous alliterative poem Piers Plowman. It is an allegorical work with complex variety of religious themes. The language of the work is simple and conversational, consists of 3 allegorical characters: do will, do well, do bit, do better, and do best, do best. There are 3 different variants of Piers Plowman known as the A text, B text, and the C text. Conclusion. The Middle Ages have a vast impact on the language that we use today. The modern day English is a blend of Old English, Celtic, Latin, and French. The literature of the time remaining a classic to this day. It mainly consisted of religious, allegorical, or focused on the courtly manners. The Middle Ages produced one of the greatest poets to this day. That's all about the Middle Ages. If you like my video, please share it with others. Thank you.